What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again, and for today's video, we're here to do something very important. We're here to talk about the top 5 reasons that people buy hot toys. What attracts people to hot toys? What keeps them collecting hot toys? If you're a new person to this channel, please hit the like button, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, because there's going to be a lot more fun content coming your way. If you're new to hot toys, we're going to go over why people buy them in the first place. Maybe you've never bought a hot toy before, and you're like, what's so interesting about these? Maybe you're new to hot toys. Maybe you're an experienced hot toys collector, and you've never really thought about, why do I keep buying these hot toys? Well, you know what? We're going to dissect that tonight. We're going to go over the top 5 reasons that people buy hot toys. With that said, let's jump right into the classroom. So, the 5 reasons people buy hot toys. Let's go. Number 1. Well, really, before we get to number 1, let's tease something a little bit, or give us some basic background knowledge, some fundamental knowledge. What are hot toys anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because hot toys, what they really are, they're typically 1/6 scale, but they do have some quarter scale and 1:1 scale props, figures, things like that. But typically 1/6 scale. They're licensed, so licensed from Lucasfilm, from Warner Bros. DC, from Marvel, Disney. They're licensed figures that articulate, so you can pose them, and they're designed to combine lifelike characteristics with posability. So you can articulate them, make them, your own. You can put them in your own pose that you're comfortable with, that you're excited about. They get you sort of recreating iconic scenes that get you sort of engaged with the product you're purchasing. And they're as lifelike as they can possibly make a 1/6 figure, a shrunk down version of the real thing. That's the goal anyway. So some backstory, the company Hot Toys, it was established in 2000 by Howard Chan. We call him Santa Howard sometimes, or I call him that, Santa Howard, because we like to think that he's gonna put presents under our Christmas tree. Howard Chan, 2000, created Hot Toys, and originally they were doing like army figures back in the day. So it's pretty interesting. And some of the figures they were even actually like assembling. You were getting the box, assembling the figures, putting them together. Not so much like that anymore. Maybe some accessories here and there. But Hot Toys can range from anywhere from $200 to $1,000 for life scale, 1:1 scale rather, 1/6 scale, quarter scale, anywhere in between. So it depends on the scale, the materials, things like that involved. They can even be cheaper, like Cost Babies and stuff like that, but we're kind of ignoring those for now. We don't like to talk about those. Okay, so the number 1 reason, why do people buy hot toys? And again, these are just the top 5 reasons. Like I said, there may be other reasons that you come up with. Let me know in the chat what you're thinking. But one of the reasons that I think is probably the most important thing here, it's the most realistic representation in a licensed capacity that you could find for most people. One of the things that I think are that's very important about hot toys is, I don't know that most people got into hot toys because they're like, I want to collect 1/6 scale figures or collectibles. What they got into hot toys for is, I want to collect the most lifelike, realistic, accurate thing that I can find in the market. And for the longest period of time, since 2000, it was hot toys. And now there's more competition on the market. There's some statues that are being made that are really, really high end and really nice. Some 1/6 scale figures, some in art that are giving some hot toys some competition, right? So we're going to see how that shakes out. But Hot Toys' name has long been synonymous with realism, right? And many people are really drawn to Hot Toys because of how lifelike they look. Not every Hot Toy is a 10 out of 10, but a lot of them are pretty damn good. So even when they're not a 10 out of 10, they're still usually the best available. So sometimes, like I said, there's some statues or other scales that can be a little more lifelike, but really what draws people to Hot Toys, I think the number 1 reason is the realistic representation, lifelike realism. It's supposed to be that shrunk down version on your shelf, and that's really what it's about. Number 2, so when you ask Hot Toys collectors, what is the biggest reason that they collect Hot Toys? A lot of them will say nostalgia. You'll say, why do you collect Hot Toys? And they'll say nostalgia. So what does that mean exactly? So we're going to define nostalgia. Nostalgia is really defined as a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. So you're longing for the past in a sort of happy, positive way. That's what nostalgia really does, and that's what these figures do for a lot of people. An example, I put Killmonger on the screen. An example sentence, I was overcome with nostalgia when unboxing Hot Toys Killmonger. What that really means is I'm going back to when I watched Black Panther. Maybe I went with a family member. Maybe I just had a really good experience. Maybe I connected with the character for any number of reasons. So when I unbox that Killmonger, it brings me back to that moment of joy when I was watching him for the first time when watching Black Panther. So that's really what it's all about. It brings you back to positive things, gives you escapism. Keeps you grounded. Maybe you had a tough day at work. You had a tough day in your relationship or whatever, right? You had something going on that's a little bit stressful. You come home, you have your figures, not in a creepy way, but you have your figures to sort of connect with and say like, you know what? This makes me feel good and nostalgic about things that I've experienced in my life to show me that not everything's bad, right? There's a lot of good that sometimes we forget about. maybe we overlook. So we're trying to capitalize and maximize on those good feelings, those positive serotonin kicks, if you will, or dopamine, whatever you want to call it. And again, really, I think the biggest thing, or one of them, is that most of us do have connection to these characters because of what we experience and how we experience them. Again, a lot of the biggest connections to characters that I have are because I can relate to them in some way, or I experience them with family or really close friends where I have fond memories. I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe my brother and I have been through a lot together, right? And we're like, you know what? He loved Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII. We played it a lot as kids, or he did, and I used to always contribute and watch. So I have a connection to Final Fantasy VII characters, and of course, I love the new remake because of those reasons, right? This is why we're often willing to pay hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands, depending upon the scale, but for Hot Toys, usually hundreds of dollars to, consistently bring ourselves back to those cherished moments. That's really what it's about. If you talk to any number of collectors, they're going to tell you the same thing. Nostalgia is a huge part of why people buy these figures. They want to feel happy. They want to feel like they're reminiscing on the good times, right? And there's still good times to be had in the present, but there's also good times to be had in the past, and it's important to remember those so you can learn from them and grow. Number 3, honestly, this is the most simplistic and just true answer. They look cool and they bring you joy. That's pretty much it, right? They look cool on your shelf. So this is a very honest answer. And I mean, I don't feel like I really feel the need here to spice this one up. This is just kind of like, you know what? I don't need to dress this one up, make it sound more professional. This is just how it is. They look cool and they make you happy. That's pretty much as simple as it is for some people. So when you pose them right, when you make the display your own, it makes the collector happy, right? It makes them feel like, okay, you know what? This looks really, really cool on my shelf. And I love the character. I love the show. And you know what? This makes me happy. It looks cool. It looks like the character. And I love the character. That's really as simple as it is for some people. And really, it's like anything that's good, right? It's like a potato chip. So you can't just have one potato chip. When you eat one potato chip, you got to have another potato chip. And then you get a third potato chip and a fourth potato chip. And you just keep going down the line. That's pretty much how Hot Toys can be for a lot of people. You end up saying, oh, you know what? I'm just going to get one figure. That's how it was with me. I'm just going to get Force Awakens Kylo Ren. Then I'm going to move on. I only need the one figure. Not how it turned out, was it? Give it another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're ordering your second, third, and fourth Hot Toys. Just how it goes. You get addicted pretty quickly. And also, if you're building a comprehensive display, a display that, sort of represents you and your interests and what characters you love and what universes you love, something that looks and feels you. When someone walks into that collection room, they're saying, damn, that's Will's collection. That Pennywise he has is dope because he loves Pennywise. And I knew he would have a Loki too, right? Because Will loves Loki. Something that represents you, a comprehensive you display. Of course, you can also pose these things, like I mentioned. That helps you recreate iconic scenes. You can bring multiple characters into the fold. You can do a lot of different things by having a lot of different characters and creating something that looks very uniform and consistent and organized. And, those complementary pieces help do that, right? So to me, at the end of the day, I still feel it's important to, maximize on the characters you love, not necessarily the complementary characters that you love. But, that said, you can make things look really, really nice, if you have an organized display like that. So most collectors honestly aren't thinking this is going to make me look cool. They are thinking this is cool and it makes me happy. So there's a difference between those two. I think that's sometimes a little bit of a stereotype maybe people have about collectors coming from the outside. Like people who collect these things are the 40-year-old virgin. And, I just think that that's not usually accurate. I think what's happening here is that most collectors are like, you know what? This is cool and I like it, but it doesn't make me cool. There's so many other things that can make me cool or not cool. And really at the end of the day, who are you justifying it to other than yourself? Of course, there's healthy boundaries and this and that, but at the end of the day, I think most collectors are just thinking in very simplistic terms. This looks cool, and I don't really give a shit. It's who I am, and I like it, right? As long as you don't take it to further levels. Other than that, really nothing wrong with it. No need to justify it to anyone. So that's what I would say. So when non-collectors see them, they can be impressed, and this can happen quite a bit until they learn the price. I've had this happen to me several times when people visit, or maybe it's a date or something like that, and they're like, oh, that is so cool. That is so great. How much was it? And I'll be like, I give them the price. I'm like, oh, it was $400 or $500. They'll be like, I don't like it as much as I did when I first got here. So that's pretty much what they'll say in simplistic terms. So it just depends on who you ask, I guess. Okay, so number 4, they serve the purpose of connecting like-minded individuals. This could be said for almost any hobby, any sort of fandom, right? You could be connected with people who really have similar interests to you. And that's really what this community really is quite effective at. It's very good for doing that, because feeling like you belong to a community is a really natural human need. It's just something that I think we all crave, that we all desire, whether we realize it or communicate it or not. You want to feel part of something bigger and larger than yourself, right? Greater than yourself. And I think these communities can really do that. While they can be niche communities, they still help you do that. Like a lot of my best friends, I've literally never met them in person, not yet anyway, but they are from this community and they've had my back through thick and thin, right? Like these two guys right here. Of course, Riley Reviews and 1/6 Scale Man, some awesome YouTubers that you guys should check out if you have not already. But this community is really, really good for connecting like-minded people and really letting you share your passion together. That's really the key at the end of this. Hot Toys allows for that because it allows for human connection. There's YouTube live streams. We do them on this channel. These guys do their own live streams. There's plenty of other live streams out there that discuss these things and connect about human things that are related to figures, but also just, allowing us to connect and be supportive of each other. You'd be amazed at some of the things that happen in this community that are inherently positive. So there's also forums where you can do that. There's like Collector Freaks and stuff like that. There's conventions like what these two were at. I think they were at, I don't know if they were at New York Comic Con or what, but you have San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, Star Wars Celebration, any number of things in between. Events where, you can actually meet people that are like-minded and share these connections and the experiences together, and it makes it more fun. Without the community, what really would it be? You would just be collecting figures on your own in isolation without really engaging with the larger whole. It's not as rewarding that way. It's not as rewarding or exciting. And really buying your first hot toy, it really does serve as a gateway into a larger group of people who like what you like, hence incentivizing people to buy more because you get that sort of dopamine, that serotonin kick or whatever it is, right? I'm not a chemical expert, right? Or a scientist. So I will say that overall, it incentivizes people to keep, purchasing because you're feeling part of something larger and you're getting that kick of like, I'm part of something that is meaningful and is giving me something positive. And, external validation can always be a risky thing, but when you get it in moderation, I think it can be a really healthy thing. So that said, number 5, our final one here. You feel a sense of satisfaction in displaying them. So part of the joy, as you can see here, this is actually one of my old collection tours that I just pulled out because I haven't been able to do a collection tour yet because recently anyway, because I'm waiting for more Magic cases to come in or my Magic cases in general to come in. But collectors really do feel a sense of satisfaction in displaying their collection. So part of the joy really in owning Hot Toys is the Rubik's Cube that is displaying them, putting on a display that feels that feels organized and clean and representative of you and your interests. So really curating your collection, cutting down to the most essential figures, organizing that display so that it looks clean, orderly, and feels like, you have a purpose, like a real direction with your collection. It's an ongoing process. It never ends. There is no end point. It's a journey, right? And with any journey, I guess there will be an end when you stop collecting, but short of that, there really is no end. It's constantly changing and evolving. There's new circumstances. You got to critically think, keeps you on your toes. Do I have space for this? Do I have room for that? How is that going to look with this figure? It really is a cool process to sort of build your display and customize it to your own liking. So it makes the hobby a little more thoughtful and it stimulates our minds. I think that's part of being a collector and part of the reason that people like it because it's like a fun way to stimulate your mind. You could do a crossword puzzle. Those aren't typically as fun as collecting and building a display, right? It's just more engaging. And when you share that with the community, even that much more so. So to wrap things up, these are some of the best guys in collecting here. Of course, so we got El Professor Oro, Calvin, Jaw Dropper, Money Mendez, and of course, Uncle Keith. And I honestly am not sure who the person on the left is. So I'm going to have to correct myself on that one. I'm sure I'll take some feedback on that one, but it's hard, man. So in conclusion, Hot Toys are not for everyone, but they are for some. And if they are for you, there are a multitude of reasons that you really could continue or start collecting them. There's like I said, the display issues, there's the nostalgia, there's any number of factors that could really get you into this thing and really keep you in this thing. But really, they look cool, they're lifelike, they engage you into part of a community that really can help you grow as an individual. They've helped me grow and evolve for the better as a person. And it's just something that I think I really, really value because of that. I love the figures, but I love the community and that much more. So it's really, really great. So if you haven't purchased a Hot Toy before, you're a new watcher to this channel, do some research, determine if they're for you. If you are, Hot Toys collector, like I said, take a look at it and see what you think about terms of adding your collection, organizing your display. Let me know what you guys think about the top 5 reasons for collecting Hot Toys, because I think at the end of the day, there could be any number of reasons, but these are the most commonly associated ones that I find for myself and for all other collectors from my evaluation of what and why people have been doing these type of things since I've been in it. Maybe like like 4 or 5 years now, something like that. So yeah, it's been really exciting and a real growth process for me. So hopefully you guys feel the same. If they are for you, welcome home, because I think this is a pretty exciting community and a pretty exciting hobby. So that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There'll be more content on this channel coming your way. That said, peace out, guys. Bye. I will catch you in the next one. Bye, bye, bye. Let me see. How do I end this? There we go. Bye.